Hello and welcome back. Before we go over to the next subject, let's go over and look at an example. So if we click play, this is what we're going to make. It's going to say, welcome friend, please press E to eat a random fruit. And now when we press E, it's going to say, it's going to choose a random fruit. And in this case, it chose a banana. And it's going to say your hunger meter is now 20. Lol, if you want to eat more, press R. And now if you press R, you can eat more, and then it chooses strawberry this time, and the next time it can choose another one, it's a coconut, and so on. So, and the hunger meter is going up every time we eat something. So we are going to make this example and we're going to use what we've learned so far. Let's go ahead and pull up the level blueprint. Okay, and what we want to begin with is our usual begin play event. So begin play, and here we want to print out a text. So let's print out hello friend, press E to eat a random fruit. Okay, and now we have to make the E key. So writing in the keyboard, the E key. So now we have this event. And when you click E, you want to eat a random fruit. As for the fruit, we have to make a list of fruit. So we have to make an enumeration. So let's go over, and you can see I have this from my other video. So I want to delete it for now so you can see how you do it. And I can right click and do blueprints, enumeration. And here I can call it fruits. Okay, let's save everything. Let's go inside of this list and make a new fruit. So it doesn't really matter. So choose whatever you want. We can make strawberry again. I'm just going to choose the same fruit that I had. Coconut, and the last one was pineapple. Okay, so you can add as many as you want. We have these 4 for now. Let's close down the enumeration and let's go back to the level blueprint. And in here, when you press E, you want to select a random enumeration. So let's make the variable and call it fruit. And let's change the variable type to our enumeration list. So fruit, this is what we called it, and select it here. So drag out the enumeration and hold Alt so we can set it. And now we want to set it to, let's see here, let's copy paste it 4 times. And let's change the value here to all of these different fruits. So when you press E, we want to select a random fruit over here. So the way we can do it, we can actually use our multi-gate. So you use the multi-gate here and connect 4 pins to it. So add more pins and let's add them here. Okay, and we can tick random, so it chooses one of these randoms, and we can connect the E button. So now when we click E, it's going to choose at random one of these pins. So it's going to choose and set our fruit variable to one of these random fruits. So if we press E, there's a chance it will choose this pin and our fruit will be set to coconut. Okay, so when the fruit is set to a specific value, we want to eat the fruit. So we want to make a custom event, and let's call it eat fruits. And here, let's start with printing the text. So we're going to print you've eaten a. Actually, I want to teach you something else. Let's do something different here in this tutorial, because I want to teach you something new. Let's take out this fruit variable, and we can use something called select. This is very useful. So what a select is, it selects one of these options depending on what your value here is. So if you have set your variable to coconut, it's going to do whatever you have set it here into coconut. So right now you can see everything is grayed out, because that is because these are wildcards. You have to right click and click on change pin type. And then here you have to select a variable. And for example, I want to write a text. For example, if you eat a coconut, it will say oh my god, you ate a coconut. Or if you eat a banana, it's going to say, yoo-hoo, you ate a banana. So this is a text or a string, that's up to you. So I'm going to choose text, and you can see here all of them changed color. They are now text. Okay, so now you can actually write something. You could also have changed it to something else. Maybe you wanted the numbers, and then you could choose numbers. But let's choose text, and I want to show you what it does. So select. So right now, if we click E, it chooses one of these random. It's going to set it to a random fruit. And if it sets it to pineapple, for example, it's going to say, nice, you ate a pineapple. Okay, so nice, you ate a pineapple. So this is what it's going to say. It knows that your value is pineapple, and it's therefore going to select this value. This is what select is. So it depends on what the value is. It's going to select this. So it's going here. It's going to say, yum, it was a banana. Or, oh my god, a strawberry. Or the last one, awesome, a coconut. Okay, so depending on what the value is set, it's going to select. So for example, if it's coconut, it's going to select and say this text. So this is what a select is, and we can print it out to the screen. So let's hook it up, and now it's going to print it out to the screen. And now what we also want to do, we also want to do a hunger meter. So it's going to display that your hunger meter is going up. So depending on what fruit you eat, you have different hungers. So it increases with different numbers. So let's make a new variable and call it hunger or fullness. That's up to you. And let's make it an integer. Okay, so now we have a hunger, and we can use this hunger and set it to different values, but now we have to use this switch on enum, because we want different values for each of these fruits. So we can do the switch on enum here, or we can, just for practice sake, we can use the sequence that we learned. So sequence, it's going to do this code, and after it finishes this code, it's going to do switch on enum. So now it's going to switch on enum here. So it's going to do this code first, and then it's going to fire this code over here. And depending on what it is, we are going to set the hunger to different values. So for banana, let's set it to 20. And let's copy paste it a few times. And let's change these values to different values. Something like this. It doesn't really matter what you change them to. This is just practice. Okay, so now we have this hunger, and it's going to display to the screen what the hunger meter is. So after doing this, we can print to this screen, or we can actually do the format text. That's a lot better here. So it's going to say your hunger meter is now, and then we have a number, and let's just say nice. If you want to eat again, press R. And I'll show you later on what, like we will make the R a bit later. So let's focus on this for now. So now we have this hunger meter, and we want it to increase every time you eat something. And you can imagine if we set it to something like this, every time we press E, it's going to set it to this static number, and it's never going to increase. So we need a new variable, and let's call it hunger meter. And this hunger meter is going to say this hunger meter plus this hunger. So now we have 20 in total. And then we are going to set this hunger meter. Okay, so now we have this hunger meter, which is 0 to begin with, and we add 20 to it. So now it's 20. And the next time we press the button and we eat another fruit, this value will be 20. And let's say we ate a pineapple after that, then it's going to say, let's put it down here, this is the hunger meter. Then it's going to say 20 plus 80. And now it's going to be 100. So we're adding the, every time we press, we're adding the hunger to the hunger meter, which is the total value. And it's going to set the new value here. So we need to copy paste this a couple of times. And sometimes coding is like this. You have to copy paste. So let's move it down. And I can actually do this in a smarter way, but let's keep it fairly simple. I don't want it to be very confusing. We can always move on to more complex courses later on. So let's set the hunger meter twice up here too. And I want to pull them down so we have more space. And let's add this with this. Let's plug everything in. Okay, so it can get messy quickly, but I talked about that we could do it in a smarter way. We can actually do this into a function, but let's keep it simple for now and do it like this. But if you want to see it in a function, I can't, I actually can't look at this. So I want to make it into a function quickly just to show you. So collapse to function. This is what we learned before. You can collapse this to a function and you can call this add hunger or something like that. It should probably be called fullness. So we're going to add this number, and this, instead of setting it out here, we can actually add it to the input here. Okay, so what this does, this actually adds an input out here in the event graph. So now we can actually add hunger here. So we can add the hunger here, and it's going through the code, setting the hunger, plusing it with the hunger meter, and now we have this hunger meter. So actually, let's actually do this. We actually learned previously how to do the collapse functions, and we want to do this a bit more advanced stuff. So I hope it's not too confusing. And let's connect everything. So now you have add hunger. And now we want to display this text. So now we want to display the hunger meter, which we will connect here. And let's print this to the screen. So now we're going to print this text, and we're going to print it after it adds the hunger. So let's move this a bit down. We can connect all of this to the print string. So instead of making a print string for each of them, you can actually connect it. So for example, if it chooses banana, it's going to choose banana, add the hunger, and then go over to print the string. So all of these will not be printed because remember the flow goes only one way, so it goes this way. Okay, so now we print this to the screen. I'm going to make it a bit compact. Okay, so now it's going to print it to the screen. And let's see what happens right now when we click play. So if I compile and click play, it's going to say hello friend, and actually let's make this is the first bug we have, or not a bug, but the first mistake maybe. We need to make it a bit longer so we can see what's going on. Just like this. And let's compile, click play. It's going to say, hello friend, press E to eat a random fruit. And we press E and nothing happens. And let's see why that is. This is because we have never called our eat fruit event. Remember, we have to call events before they work. So over here, we have chosen a fruit, but we never go to here. So let's call the event by saying eat fruit. And let's connect everything. And let's compile and click play again. Press E. Now it says, yum, it was a banana. Your hunger meter. Let's actually make it a bit longer here. So it's working. The code is working right now. And I want to show you one more bug. Let's play and eat. It says, nice, you ate a pineapple. Your hunger meter is now 80. Nice. If you want to eat again, press R. But actually, I can click E again to eat. I don't need to press R. Um, so we have to fix that mistake. And it's actually not a mistake. We have to add some more things. So here, when you press E, remember a multi-gate gives you the option to execute all of these pins. So you can see if I press E, I can press E 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I click more, I can't press anymore. So the multi-gate gives you the option to play all of these pins, but we just want to eat one banana, and we want to eat one fruit, and we want to press R to eat again. We don't want to eat all the time. So let's make a boolean and call it can eat. Change the variable type to boolean, pull it out, and then say if you can eat, if this is true. Okay, if you can eat, if this is true, you can eat, then go ahead and do this. However, if you can't eat, then do nothing. So if you can eat, you can go ahead. And so over here, when we eat something, when I click on E and it says eat fruit, I'm actually going to set this to false. Now you can't eat anymore. So the default value here should be true because at the beginning of the game I can eat. So the default value needs to be true. And when we eat a fruit, it's going to be false. So if I try to click E again, it's not going to do anything because I can't eat. This is going to be false when I go to this event. So if I click play and I click E, yes, I can eat. But if I click E again, I can't eat anymore. Okay, so let's make the R button. So the last thing, the R button, if I want to eat again. So this is very simple. We just set the can eat to true, and we can actually go ahead and eat again. So let's compile and click play. I can eat. If I click E, I can't eat anymore. If I click R and E again, then I can eat. You can see here I can press R and E again and again. And after that, we don't have any more fruit. And that is it. You have eaten all the fruit. However, if you want to reset it, you can always set it to loop, or you can use a custom event to reset and do it that way. So now we have learned about the enumeration. You can also set it to specific values. We use the multi-gate, we use the sequence. You learned how to use booleans to actually stop the code from happening until it's set again. And also using this select, which is something new, and the switch on enumeration, and also how to collapse to a function. And we can actually attach the variables to the function input so it appears over here, and we can actually add a value. It goes through the code and then it adds it to the hunger meter. So now the hunger meter is updated and we can print it to the screen. I hope this was useful for you, and if you need any help with any of it, please don't hesitate to comment or write in the Discord server or any of our social media. I am more than willing to help you out. So hope you had fun, and let's move on to the next lesson.